We are live. Welcome to Shadows in the North. I'm Malossar, and I'm joined with Arhain and Lord Kurnion, who is finally back from sabbatical of Malifaux and Kings of War.
Hey guys.
Oh, he walked away, I think, from his computer screen.
Hey there! Yeah, so there's a little echo.
Yeah, a little echo. Well, this has got off to a great start, like all of our videos.
Yeah, really good.
We're nothing but professional.
Nothing but professional. That's us.
I like that. Let's use that instead of we're sorry. We'll just say we're nothing but professional.
Top quality conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so the three of us went to a tournament a couple, I guess 10 days ago, didn't we?
We did?
Wow. It feels longer than that, but yeah, we did.
Do you guys remember Saturday night at all, or no?
I remember an awesome... Do you remember the name of that game? Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh my god, what the hell was it?
I know, I tried looking for it.
Something like Werewolf or something like along those lines. Yeah.
Werewolf.
Yeah.
I did not play it because I was babysitting Gene.
Yeah, Gene needed a babysitting. That's so good.
Probably a good thing for everyone involved.
Yeah, that was a thinker game, too. And you had a good poker face, kid.
Oh yeah, no one expects me. I'm just so innocent looking, and
yeah, that was good. But yeah, it was a good Saturday night. Good games, good company. It was a good tournament. That's always a fun one.
We had what, 3-hour wait for dinner?
it was approximate. Yeah.
Guys, we won't get our Outback endorsement if we trash them. So.
Oh, but wait! I forget. There was something about someone owed someone else a dinner.
Oh no!
Come on.
Okay,
so are we even now? I think we're even now.
Whatever.
So for people listening,
lost a bet to me about who would take best high elf in a one-day tournament. Not that they were doing best high elf awards, just because we're competitive assholes like that. And he lost, and so he owed me dinner Saturday night. We go out to dinner on Saturday night, and who forgets his wallet?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what you're talking about. So not only did I not get my free dinner, I had to pay for Arhain's dinner too.
Yeah.
You also forgot your ID, which was amazing.
Yeah, that was the worst part about it. I couldn't even drink. So.
I was like, really? We're all clearly old and ugly, so...
Going to Sheets afterward, or whatever it was, Wawa helped.
The Wawa.
Just need a little alcohol.
Anyway, let's walk through what we took to the tournament, though.
Yeah. Warhammer channel. 9th Age channel.
9th Age channel.
Yeah.
That is Warhammer crap. You're not high elves anymore.
We are highborn elves now.
We are highborn.
Highborn.
Let's bring back Elves of Light.
No. Get that out of here. Get that crap out of here. Don't bring that evil on us.
I think that was a hard veto there from Joe.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, so mine and Arhain's lists are on the 9th Age forum for what we took. You took the Sky Sloop Prince. We took Identical Core. And we both took medium unit sword masters and some other MSU elements with a lot of shooting.
Yep.
I took the Lore Master, or the Master of the Canreek Tower.
Yeah.
With the Book of Miladies.
Milady. You gotta sound like Jack Black when you say that.
Yeah, and what else did I take? Some shooting and some line chariots.
Yeah.
It's a really detailed list description there.
It's on the internet, you know?
Yeah. It's out there.
It's out there. And then Gaddy played his first game in 9th Age Friday night.
Yeah, I did. So this was a kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing for me. Todd was telling me, you need to try this, you need to come back, come to my tournament. So I was like, all right, you know what? I will come to your tournament, Todd, if you lend me an army, because all of my demons are rebased for Kings of War, and I really don't want to spend time rebasing it for a game that I may or may not like. So he was like, sure, you know what, fine. I'm not going to play a test game. No. That's not how I test out games. I'm just going to jump into the deep end and just play 6 consecutive games over a period of 3 days. So anyway, I got a list of his models. I decided, you know what? I've never played Bretonia. Like, I mean, kind of messed about with them, but never really played them in a tournament. Don't have any Bretonian models, but they're always an army that I've been interested in trying. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do Bretonian. So I gave the model list to Joe because I don't know what I'm doing, and Malossar was kind enough to make me a list. So what I took is I took two Dukes, both on Hippogriffs. Both Hippogriffs are upgraded with Armor Piercing and Devastating Charge.
Both had
So
jean shorts.
both of Jean Shorts, of course. The first Duke, who was my general, had 2-up armor save. He had the Crystal Ball, so cut multi wounds in half. He had Heroic Killing Blow. Well, the equivalent of it's like the Ordnance Wounds on Killing Blow, whatever. Blessed Scripture and Blessed Sword, so I'm rerolling the wounds. And have Divine Attacks, which was pretty spectacular all around. The other guy had the Dragon Lance, which gives him Thunderous Charge and Devastating Charge. He also had a 2-up rerollable on this guy. And he had the Virtue of Might, which is what's that one do? Oh, that's every wound.
Every unsaved wound you cause, you get another attack.
Yeah, so it's basically Bretonian Red Fury, which is pretty awesome. And he had the Dragon Lance, so every unsaved wound is multiplied to D3 wounds. So both these guys were like pretty directed at killing monsters. Really no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I had a Paladin, who's my VSB, on a Bard Warhorse. 2-up armor save. What's it called? With a distracting, -1 to hit, right? That's what's called.
Yep.
Talisman of Roland, which is enemy models can't stand and shoot against me, and on top of that, I get +1 to my ward save against shooting. And the Virtue of Daring, which is plus D3 to every charge, which I didn't realize that is a rule until probably day 2.
I remember you saying that, yep.
So, yeah. So I failed a bunch of charge where I should have actually made them, but that's what you get when you go to a tournament and don't know the rules of a game. I had 2 damsels, both white magic. One had scroll, one had +1 spell. Core was 10 Knights of the Realm with the Musician Standard Champ. One was a unit of 8 Knights of the Realm, full command. And then I had 2 units of 10 archers, just kind of fill out core and give me a little bit of chaff. A unit of 4 Peg Knights with full command and barding, skirmish, and devastating charge. One had the Gleaming Pennant, and I believe I gave them Vanguard as well. I had 2 units of 5 Fast Cav and 2 Trebuchets, and that was my list. So,
for those who didn't hear, can you repeat that?
Wait, really?
No.
Mother.
That was a really good description of the list. That was really
okay.
Good.
Thanks. It's what I got. I'm nothing if not detailed.
Hey, that's too much effort for this channel.
No, that was good, man. And I for what it's worth, you played a list. You didn't even really like you said. Joe helped you with the list, man. So it was really fun to see you come out and play 6 games of not having played. Luckily,
yeah, well, so
enough in game, so I bet it was a kind of a roller coaster for you.
The funny thing was I was like hanging around on Friday night, and there was a guy who was a Chaos Dwarf player, and I'm completely blanking on his name now. Really nice guy though, and he was just kind of, we were watching One Spit play, and I said to him, "Hey, you want to play a game?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So we set up, and he's like, "All right, I need to forewarn you. This is literally my first game of 9th Age, and I may or may not have actually read the rules."
Do you even 9th Age, bro?
So like we go to roll for deployment, and I'm like, okay, so I won the roll, so I guess you can deploy first. And he's like, well, so you either choose who deploys first, or you choose which table side. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Say what? Like, what is going on with this? So he described it to me. He's like, yeah, so you choose one or the other. And I was completely taken aback by this whole new change of like, oh, wow, so it's like a coin flip in football now. This is kind of cool. I can get behind this. And then it was like game 3, I was also caught off guard because someone just said, all right, I'm going to deploy my whole army. And I was like, wait. Back up. What's happening? And yeah, he described those rules to me. So I was caught off guard by a couple of rules and like special rules of my army. But yeah, that was a good story. I'm really glad I told it now.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think it's interesting just to hear like you coming in and what are some of the big changes for you and stuff like that. So that's cool.
And how many games did you win, Gaddy? Not including
Well,
Friday night game.
not including Friday night game. Well, I ended up going 3-2.
That's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, for my first ninth age game where I was playing games, I guess at that point games 2 through 6, I was okay with 3-2, and I won my first game too, so I was 4-2 for the weekend, which is not bad. And I mean, really, if we're talking about it, so my game 1, I tabled a high elf player. It
Take
was just
that back.
no, I mean, I tabled someone with basically Joe's list. It was his first tournament ever, and I played in quite a few tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be said about just having tournament experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't necessarily know all the rules to a game, it just kind of helps.
And it's not that different of a game too. So
yeah,
you probably caught on really quick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, there was some stuff that I caught on to. So I did that, and I ended up getting max points, which was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea because
game 1, that's tough.
Yeah, it catapulted me up to table 2, and I was playing Owen, Lord Inquisitor, and then he crushed me. I only got 5 points out of that one, which was probably a lot more than I should have scraped out. And then I played game 3 against Caps, who also I only got 5 points off of. And so that put me back to right where I belonged, kind of right in like the upper middle pack, and I was cool with that. But I mean, if we're talking about it, I mean, Owen ended up finishing 2nd overall, and Caps finished 4th. So I think I win the Iron Knight Strength of Schedule award.
I think so.
But yeah, so that was my tournament. It was fun.
Cool, man.
What happened with you guys?
So interesting story. So we got actually identical.
We're the Wonder Twins.
Say it again.
We're the Wonder Twins.
We are the Wonder Twins. We will take that photo you suggested. I'm looking forward to this. We actually got identical scores except for battle and point. So for battle, I don't even remember the breakdown, but overall we both got 100 points, tied for 5th. But Mr. Joe, as expected, got more battle points than me. And then I got a little more painting, and that enough to tie. So we ended up tied for 5th, which is a great showing for the combined in 2 different lists too. I know you said before that they're a little similar and they're posted, but I brought a different core set up with the mini lance bus and the sloop prince, the single sloop prince, and he took something that you don't see, which is the lore master. So it was cool. It was a very good showing, I think.
But whose list survived the tournament?
What do you mean?
Let's get some sailing out here. Can you run your list anymore? I can't remember.
Oh, too soon, man. No, because apparently a sloop prince is just overpowered. So
Yeah, you're just a dirty power gamer.
What are you gonna do?
Nerf. Nerf.
Again, I mentioned this to you, but I gotta say it on the podcast. It's funny when everyone comes up to you and they read the forums, so they go, "Oh, you're taking the sloop prince. That's the new cheese." And literally, out of the 4 high elf players, I'm the only guy with a sloop. So it's like, yeah, this is the real cheese right here. Everyone's taking this shit.
This is the cheese, man.
It is. I live by it.
Drinking red wine while he's playing a sky sloop.
I mean, how else are you going to do it? It kind of comes with it.
Yeah, fedora probably. Diamond tip game.
Mm-hmm. So it was fun though. I don't know about your game. Well, I do know about your games, but I thought it was a good showing overall. Just like even if you play your best, sometimes you're gonna have funky games that mess with your score. I had a couple things in some games that were like, this shouldn't have happened, but good and bad. So my last game, Dragon Armor with the 6-up ward, was saving my battle standard from a total of 3 lethal strikes. Crazy things like that happen for you, and then there's crazy things that happen against you. So,
Let's add a little bit of color to this, because right now we're just talking nonsense to everyone who might be listening to this, and I apologize for that because these guys are fucktards. Anyway,
so professional.
We are so professional. So haven't we go?
We didn't abandon you for a year. That's right.
That's true. That's true. You needed my guidance. I understand how the channel just went in the tanks. I get it. But anyway, how about we all just like go through and just like talk about our favorite game of the event? It can be like a game you thought you played especially well, which is what mine will be. Or it could be a game that you thought was just hilarious. Like just walk us through the play-by-play of your favorite game. Joe, you go first.
I had two favorite games.
All right, well, walk us through both.
He's already ruining your structure, Gaddy. This is not fair.
I played Shannon Powell, who ended up winning the tournament in game one, and it was a very tight game. Going into turn 5, I was up by a couple hundred points, and then at the end of turn 6, I had a unit of Dragon Princes left and got zeroed. But it was a very fun game, very back and forth, very
Okay, how about you walk us through this? Because I'm really curious how this turn of events occurred.
His ogres finally got into me, and I failed a couple panic checks. I failed a rally check here or there, and then he caught my lore master with his man eaters, and so my sword masters with Wizen's up, stuff like that. You know, yeah.
With Wizen's up.
How about have you thought, Joe, that maybe this is why you were never good at battle reports?
Probably. Hey, but I accept that I am bad at battle reports, and that's why I don't do them. Although I get a surprising number of requests to keep doing battle reports, and I always look at them and say, "Why? Mine are terrible."
I don't know what you're talking about. I was right there with your battle. That's how descriptive you just were.
Right. I mean, it's kind of hard to remember 10 days later.
It's like watching one of those like old school movies where like it's black and white, everything's going just a little bit too fast. You're not quite sure what's going on. There's no sound. You just kind of listen to the piano in the background. That's kind of how I feel about battle reports.
It is 10 days later, and so.
I mean, I'll give you the play-by-play of my favorite game, but Corey, you go next. Please be more colorful.
Well, following that up, colorful, so I can cuss. Is that how you're saying that?
Sure, that one.
I think he means that I don't have a personality.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but
this is the best. I love it. So, all right. I'll tell you about. A lot of my games were really fun. I think I was lucky that I had. You go to some tournaments and you honestly play some people who you just don't mesh with, or it's never like I've never had a really terrible experience, but I was really lucky this time. There was just a lot of people who were really fun to talk to. So one of my favorite games was actually the last game against Phil Blake, an Undead Dynasties player. He's in the club. I've known him for a while. It's funny. The last time I saw him was at a single day, and he beat me there. It was one of these close games, and then at the end, it really turned against me. So, it was fun, like a rematch, a last game of the tournament type deal. And I did something. Joe walked over when I did this, and I'll give the play-by-play, but I have to set it up right. So I do this charge, and Joe comes up and goes, "Did you just do that?" I said, yeah, I did it. And he goes, you just like won me the best high elf player. So it was one of those things where like this is probably not a good idea. But I also had, let me describe what it was. So I have my Lancer bus, which is 11 strong with a BSB with the banner of Rima. So they're charging at strength 6, a lot of strength 6 attacks, with the lightning reflexes and stuff. But I declared my charge against, what are they called, Mortarks? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
5 Morghast.
Yeah, Morghast. So as I say this, people listening are like, you're an idiot. Why would you do that?
Well, wait. It's even better. They had regen up.
Yes. Although, little side, I had flaming swords and another +1 strength attack. So I felt, even with the regen on the 5-up, I felt like I could magic through some buffs, and at the minimum, and keep in mind, this is when it slipped my mind that they had lethal strike. That's one of the things I forgot about. So I was like, they're going to hit me a lot. They're toughness 5. They got some high strength attacks coming at me, but I've got a lot of strength 6 coming at him. I can further buff him, and if I fail my charge, I can chaff. I'm not worried. And at the very least, I've kind of got the initiative at that point. It's not great. Again, the math is not good to me, but it's not terrible in the charge either. So, Anyway, so what ends up happening, I charge in and, did the math in my head, and then he goes, oh, they also have lethal strike, which was kind of the surprise to me. So I end up winning, but, he only crumbles another wound or something. So this is like the flank, okay? This combat is really, how's that flank going to go? Because if I run, they're going to run rampant. My center is pretty held strong with sword masters and lion chariots with my shooting. So if my flank crumbles, he can get to me. If not, it's a tough time. So that combat ends up lasting three extra rounds. And the big part about that combat, which is just like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened, Phil. But he threw like, I don't know, 5 or 10 attacks or something like that at my Battle Center Bear with a 1-up. But keep in mind, he's got lethal strike. So, I forget how many hits he has, but he essentially has 3 lethal strikes. And for those of you who don't know, Dragon Armor on for the Highborn Elves gives you 6 up wards. So I roll my 3 wards, I fail 1, and get 2 6s. So that's automatically awesome. But he also does 3 extra normal wounds. So same thing, I roll, and I save 2 of them with just armor. And then that last one, I roll another 6 for the ward save. So it was one of these things where like, ugh, and then it just went south for him. Because then I had another magic phase, I got my buffs through, was able to turn the flank, and then it ended up, there ended up being a lot more tense, kind of sweaty moments where you're just like, ooh, this could go either way. But it ended up being, I don't even remember, Joe, do you? Like
I think he got like 14-6 or something.
Yeah, I think he had more than that. It was close. It might have been 14-11 or something. Yeah. It was pretty close.
Yeah, I think you won like 11-9. Then you got your 3 battle bonus points or something.
Yep.
And he got 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was probably my favorite game. Very tense. He had a lot of ambushers. So when they came up, High Elf Spears, for those who hate High Elf Spears, they really held my center. And using a combination of the martial discipline for the reforms and stuff, I was able to maneuver my troops. Spears needed to go. They got to where they needed and managed to kill a unit of the Necronites. I don't know the new 9th Age name. I'm sorry. The Necronites, unit of 3, and then subsequently another unit of 4. So Spears were clutch in this game.
Yeah. You also got to have the joy of me trolling you the whole game at your table.
I know. Oh my God, that moment was amazing. I don't know if Phil listens to these, but that moment. So here's something else that happens, guys. This was awesome. So it's right now it's like turn 5, and this is the last game of the tournament. Okay, so it's okay to make long. In my mind, try to make the long charges. It's not gonna hurt you.
Especially when you're down by a couple hundred at that point.
Yep, exactly. So it's something like, even if he needed a 12, hell, I'm declaring it. Why not? He's got the cover or whatnot. So anyway, there's a long, not even a long, I think it was like...
He needed a 9 or 10 or something.
He needed a 9 from 3 chariots into my Queen's Guard. And my Queen's Guard... with a caster. And if he blows through them, he can go into the flank of my spears who are about to brace up against the Necronites, which again... That's a favorable combat for the spears. I'll take that any day with my lethal strike and armor piercing. So he wants to do that. Yeah, exactly. 3 chariots change things. So, but he's sitting there. He goes, "Ooh, I don't know. That's a long charge. I'm not going to do that." So Joe is sitting there while Phil is talking this out, and Joe doesn't say anything, but he does this like. Look down, this very in my mind it was an obvious like look down at the table like, oh God, like I could see Joe talking to himself saying, look down, don't say anything, stare straight ahead. And of course my reaction, I'm like, Joe, damn it, why do you gotta do anything, man? This is a tournament. Like, so of course, and Phil might have done this anyway, because I think eventually the math would have worked out for him, because he's a math whiz. So he would have eventually figured it out. But in the moment, I was like, Joe, what are you doing, man? So he makes the charge, obviously, ends up, I do good stand and shoot, but he ends up being able to get 1 chariot in the, only 1 chariot into the spears, which isn't enough to swing the combat. So, but it was one of those moments like, this game is, too close for anything like that to be happening. So it was a fun game, definitely my favorite. Definitely missed.
Yeah, I think it was like the reaction was when he said, "Oh, that's too far." I think I threw up in my mouth or something like just hit me in the face, and I didn't say anything. I just like looked at. I think I looked at you or at the table or something.
Yeah, it was at the table. You were very like good about it, and I was the one to go like, Joe, what are you doing, man?
You needed to blame
So,
somebody because you left
yep.
your Queensbird out there to dry.
And another key combat with the sloop. Sorry, Getty, I told you, man. I'm
No, it's
gonna
cool.
talk if you give me the. So another key combat. So it's a close game. So I had whittled his. He had his BSB that causes hatred. What are they called, Joe?
First you Shopty.
Thank you. Well, the Shopti and whatever the BSB model is called that gives them hatred. I had the Shopti down to, at that point, there was 4 Shopti and the BSB model in there. So I had a Lion Chariot and my Sloop Prince that could charge. So, it's one of those games, late game, I want to grab some points. I feel pretty good about getting into combat, doing enough wounds to steal some points. So charge in, kill off the BSB in the challenge, which takes away the hatred and scores me a bunch of points. Kill a Shopti down to 2 models, and then they swing back, do well, and actually kill the Lion Chariot off. So, with only 2 Shopti left and a Prince in the flank, I feel pretty good that I'm going to whittle these guys down. But I do not roll even average with the wounds I'm doing. He's saving, which is really good. And even worse, I'm not saving my wards. So he ends up getting my Prince over the course of 3 or 2 combat, I think it's 3 combats, down to 1 more wound. And with ninth age rules, that's what you need. You need below at 25 or below to get half points. So if I had even made 1 more save, that's an extra for me, an extra 250 points because that Prince is really expensive. So, or 200 points. So it was a very close game. A lot of weird stuff. Again, the dragon ward savings and stuff like that. But crazy stuff both sides. It was really enjoyable.
Cool.
Yep.
So yeah, so like my favorite game comes game 3. So basically, like, I put it like the first game I played on Friday night, like it was just kind of getting the idea of like, oh right, this is a war game thing again that we're doing, and I need to roll dice. That's a thing, right? Okay, rolling dice. Cool, I can handle this. Game 1 of the actual tournament was me being like, oh, I mean, I was playing against someone who hasn't played in any tournaments, like, and I mean, I've played a lot of games, and so like, it was, I mean, it's nothing against him. I mean, he'll be a good player in a little bit. He just never came to a tournament before, so like, he's not going to have the experience of like, how do I save points? How do I salvage like the situation? So like, he ended up handing me a lot of points. So then game 3, I got pushed, or game 2, I got pushed around, and game 3, I got pushed around. And so I leave like Saturday night, and I'm like, it's kind of like, like when something goes bad, and just kind of like rolling around in the back of your head of like stuff that could do differently and stuff that could, what mistakes did I make and how could things go better. So then it brings me to game 3. And that's kind of when I like remembered this whole thing of like, how do I play war games? So I'm playing against a high elf player, and I'm looking at his list, and I was like, I can probably get a 15-5 out of this, just like looking at his list and looking at the way he deployed. So basically, he had a list. So he had a Griffin Prince, he had a Frostheart, he had a big unit of
Kelly.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, this is Kelly.
Big unit of Seaguard. They put in a building with his Archmage, his level 4, who was rocking. I think she was rocking white, but I forget. Big unit of Spears, and like unit of Dragon Princes in the middle. He was kind of basically trying to like crap up the middle of the field, and really like I was looking at him. The reason I was like I can win this 15-5 is because I'm cool with this because he has a unit of toughness 3 guys in a building, and I have white magic, and I rolled the Flames of the Phoenix one, so like, like I'm going to get points for that. I have 2 trebuchets, and he has a big unit of toughness 3 elves. I'm going to get points for that. And then it's just a quick question of like keeping his dragon princes, like making sure I get the charge on them, and if I do it, I win there. So he has to push the combats. He has to push his advantage. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm cool with the setup. Like I'm fine. So around my right flank, he has his Frostheart and his Griffin. And he gets first turn because he dropped basically his entire army before me. He moves them up, looking down like towards the center of my line. And I had in the middle, I had behind a wall, I had my Peg Knights. I had my big unit of Realm with one of my mages and my BSB on a hill. A little bit next to them, I had my unit of 8. And I had my 2 Griffin Princes, or Hippogriff Princes, kind of hanging out near the 2 blocks. And, like, I had my chaff all around there. So he makes this aggressive move. Nothing really happens as magic or shooting. So it's like, okay, I can work with this. So what I do is I move my 1 Griffin with Royal Killing Blow over into a woods area next to where the pegs are, like staring down the middle of the field. And I just leave my pegs where they are. And he's looking at the flank of my pegs at this point. But I logic it out as like, he's going to charge me with both. He might make it with 1, he might make it with both. If he makes it, regardless of what happens, if his general makes it in, I'm going to challenge. And I don't trust his Griffin to do 2 wounds, so he'll kill one of my pegs, might do a wound or so to the other one, because, like, I mean, and he'll get overkill. He's going to win combat. He's probably going to break me. But then it becomes a coin toss of, do I outrun him? Maybe a little worse than a coin toss because he gets 2 rolls. But, like, still, there's a good chance I get away. And then I can countercharge with my 2 characters that are designed to kill monsters. So it's like, this is a good situation for me. This is spectacular. And, like in the middle of the field with my 2 night blocks, I kind of like putz around. One of them I wheel so that I can get partial sight to the Frostheart if he doesn't overrun too far, and so on and so forth. So magic's uneventful. It goes back into his turn. He takes the charge with both. The Griffin Prince needed a 10. The Frostheart needed like an 8. So the Frostheart was in. He takes the charge. He makes both. Exactly what I thought would happen happened. He rolled, I challenged, he killed me, he overkilled by 2. The Frostheart didn't do a single wound. So I have 3 pegs left, we go to run, and I decide that that's the moment that I'm going to run 12 inches. So they, like, fly across the board, there's no way of him catching me, and now I have 2 of his monsters that are worth the bulk of his points and are a significant amount of his killing power, just kind of hanging out with both of my characters facing him. He ran far enough to get out of arc of my general, but my guy that does D3 wounds per hit and Red Fury, like, lined up to, like, kill 1 and overrun into the second. So I made that charge. I actually bounced in the first round, which is, like, abnormal. He charged in his Frostheart, but, like, I positioned in the bottom of that turn, I positioned my general to finally, like, guarantee there is no way he can avoid a rear charge on his general or Griffin. Like, I am in position. So we're kind of still, like, putzing around in the middle. And he charges his next turn, he charges his Frostheart into my Duke. I challenge at that point, be like, all right, fine, you're going to be in a pillow fight with my general, and your Frostheart's just going to give you +1, and I'm fine with that. So nothing happens. I stand, charging with my general heroic killing blows his Frostheart. Causes his general to break. His general gets run down. And at this point, my second Griffin has 3 out of 4 wounds on him. Overruns into dangerous terrain. Didn't fail my DT. He was like praying. He was like, "Oh, come on, do it. Just give me the points. Give me the points. Give me the points." And I rolled like a 2 or something. It was great. But then from that point, it was just like I got off a +2 movement on my big unit of Realm Knights. Was able to charge off his BSB with a +D3, which I finally remembered existed. And, so I ended up cleaning up points for that. I cleaned up points for his Seaguard in the building because I eventually got that spell off. Took out his general, took out his, his BSB, took out his Frostheart, and I ended up winning 12-8 because later in the game, which I kind of skimmed over this part, when my unit of 8 Realm Knights with one of my mages, he threatens a long charge with his what the hell are they called? Dragon Princes. And I was like, all right, he might make it, he might not. If he makes it, I lose. If I flee, there's really no danger. I reform next turn, and I can chaff him. That's fine. I flee like 10 inches, go like right to the edge of the board, or I guess I go like about like 8 or 10 inches from the board. Next turn, it's like, all right, well, I got leadership 9. Not reroll, but my Realm Knights were way up the board. I fail. I then roll boxcars, and they flee off the board. So it would have been it would have been closer to what I predicted of a 15-5. It would probably have been a 14-6 or maybe a 15-5 if they didn't flee off the board. But I mean, that was the point that I was like, okay, I remember how to play this game. Like, I set a trap. It wasn't a very well executed trap because I gave him an out if he overran far enough against my general. But then, like, I saw the table and I predicted what I thought would happen based upon the setup. Yeah. And if I didn't fail that reform, and I would have been right. So, like, that was the point. I was like, all right, I remember how to play this game pretty well.
Yeah.
So it was a fun game. I mean, he was a good opponent. He's a good player. So, like, I was happy that I was able to pull out, close to what I expected to out of that game. But
yeah.
Anyway.
In somewhat similar lists too. That's what's interesting. Like, you with the peg, like, did you? From what I saw, and I didn't see your list extensively, but you rely a lot on your maneuverability and getting to where you need to be. Is that
right?
Pretty accurate.
Right.
And he is very much the same way with those monsters and the prince on the griffin and stuff. So that's interesting. That's good. It sounds like you played exactly what you needed to in one of kind of those mirror matchups.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was sort of a mirror matchup in terms of we both had big characters, but at the same time, it sort of wasn't because I knew I had the advantage in the middle. Because I had, I had between the trebs and my spells and the way he deployed, his 2 units of infantry were going to be they were either going to be free points for me or not take part in the game at all.
Well, in offense, your characters are miles ahead of a Heil.
Oh yeah, well, just because his are designed, his are designed a bit differently. His are designed to, support the rest of his line. Mine are designed to kill the things that my knights have trouble with.
Go headhunting.
Yeah. Yep. So like they're there to kill the enemy general on monster, kill the enemy monsters that are running around. That's what they're there for, and that's the stuff that my knights have trouble with. So they complement the army in a different way. And in that matchup, like, even though his stuff is scary, I mean, I was looking at the game and it's like, you know what? If he wants to mess around on the flanks and try to like get advantage over my 2 characters with his 2 monsters, I'm fine with that because I still win at least a 13-7 just by cleaning up his middle because my middle has an advantage over his. Just because I happen to have the right tools to deal with it between the spell against his guys in the building and the 2 trebs against his toughness 3 infantry. So, like, because they're going to hit eventually.
Yeah.
And when they hit, they're going to be killing, 12 plus elves every single shot landed.
Good game, man.
It was a fun game. It was a really good game. It was like probably the best played game in my tournament. Yeah, so I was like, then that kind of got me into be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna paint up some Bretonnians and take them to battle. It'll be good.
You
we're called Aquitaine. God.
What was that?
This is gonna I'm gonna be calling them Bretonnians for like the next 10 years or something.
They really, instead of kingdom, they should just say Aquitanians or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Yeah, than kingdom. I get stuck with it.
So anyway, so what are we thinking of moving forward with the channel? I think we were talking about some stuff. You want to walk us through that, Corey? What are we going to do?
Oh shoot! What are we going to do? Are you referring to the campaign, or what are you referring to?
One job.
Gaddy still got to make you be able to post on the channel. So
yeah.
Send me your email. I'll give you rights.
Okay. That's from Mike. I mean, I've got sound effects. That's what I bring to the table. So.
I can hear that in the background. No, just send me your email. I'll add you to the channel. I just didn't know your email, and oddly enough, Arhain doesn't quite search well on the YouTube page. But anyway, so like, do you guys want to do an escalation, or do you guys want to do a campaign that is escalation?
Totally. All right, I can talk about that. I just because we've talked about battle reports and other things like that. So we're gonna get a couple other people. We're gonna keep it small. It's gonna be 4 to 6, and we're kind of gonna do a map-based campaign. I don't know about each person, but most of us are gonna start new.
Just went underwater.
What was that?
You were underwater there for a second.
Oh no! Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So most of us are gonna probably start new armies, and we'll do battle reports. We'll share the map, what it looks like, and it'll be a lot of fun. Painting too. It'll be good.
Oh God, Echo. Oh dear God.
And it'll be a lot of fun. It was fun. And
Hold on, wait.
There it is.
I
We are
stopped
nothing.
talking. It's still going.
We are nothing but
Let it
professional.
stop. Let it stop. Nobody talk.
Are we safe yet?
And with that note, while you get to listen to all this feedback, we're so sorry.
We are nothing but professional. That was just an echo effect.
Yeah, that was a new sound effect.
No, I'm still hearing Gaddy giggling in the back.
Oh, God damn it. Put on headphones.
And with that note, while you get to listen to all this feedback,